Welcome to a Trucker's Mind podcast. I'm Eddie McGee.
It's your boy K Fings.
We're back, man. Episode 186.
Yes, sir.
Let's get right into it. Recently, Dave Chappelle's special.
Wait, that was so fast.
What happened?
That was just so fast.
We got to get into it, man. We can't be fucking around.
Yeah,
the people got things to do, man.
They do.
Yeah, man. And one thing that I did fuck up on is the name. I did not get the name of Dave Chappelle's special, which is probably
The Closer.
Important. The Closer, right? Yeah, Dave Chappelle's recent special called The Closer came out, and it's on Netflix. It's still streaming now if you want to check it out. But he's been getting a lot of backlash from the LGBT community. He's been getting a lot of backlash from, people who do support trans people in X and Y. Mm-hmm. And I just don't think, this is just my personal opinion. I feel like too many people look...
Before you go, just give your opinion on the special first.
The special first?
Like how you feel about the jokes and stuff.
I felt it was comedy in its purest form, but I mean, me and you had a conversation earlier, and the conversation was basically there are people who are embedded in the culture of comedy, and there are people who only exist on the surface. People who exist on the surface is just like, oh, that was a funny joke. Ha, ha, ha. But people who are embedded in comedy find the funny in it because we understand the culture, right? If you've done stand-up or you've done open mics or whatever, you have a different viewpoint on comedy as a whole. I remember Louis C.K. said nigger in his act. And instead of just being offended, like at first we was like, why'd he say that? But then we look for the funny in the joke because we're embedded in the culture of comedy. And his delivery about saying the word nigger was funny.
Yeah.
So when you take the time to craft that joke, that's what makes it funny. But here's my opinion on the special. Thought it was good. I thought it was very, highly intelligent. Like it seems like he was exercising his actual intellect a lot more than just telling jokes. He wasn't just shooting the shit, just telling jokes. He was actually having an angle that made you think about the shit that he was talking about. Instead of just being like, white people crazy. Like, it wasn't that type of comedy.
Yeah, I think he married. He did the special about George Floyd, and then he came back and he did his little 12-minute thing or whatever he did about them, like Comedy Central owning a show, which were not really like comedic stuff. He told a story about his grandpa and all that kind of stuff. I think he tied like his previous just funny nature to like those dense themes, and I thought it was dope the way he did it. But I get what you're saying. Yeah.
So I mean, that's my opinion about the special. I think I could go into further detail or in depth, like once I really describe this, what the backlash is about and get into that for people that want to know. But, me saying I like it is highly subjective. I'm saying I like it because, I appreciate comedy from a different viewpoint than a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because I've actually been up on stage, versus somebody that's just a casual comedy watcher. They're going to probably not look at it from the same vantage point. But let's just get into a full circle. He's gotten a lot of backlash, a lot of it from the LGBTQ plus community. And he had this same backlash existed on his last special called Sticks and Stones. And a lot of people were, calling him transphobic and all of these things. And the thing about it, man, the problem I have with it is people need to stop going to comedy for political correctness. Political correctness does not live in comedy, right? We have to understand that when people pay money, when they pay tickets, but they pay for these tickets and they go out to these shows, they're going to see things that mind fuck them. They're not going to see what they deal with in everyday society. They're going to hear jokes that everyone's afraid to tell. They're going to hear things that are not normal. I don't, like, when you go out to a fancy restaurant, you typically go out to a place that you don't cook the exact same shit at home. Yeah. Like, if I'm going to a fancy restaurant, I want the filet mignon and the Wagyu steaks and things of that nature that I don't cook at home, right? So I'm going out to get something more, I guess you could say, with a different taste. Well, that's what comedy is. And a lot of times people look to be offended rather than to find the funny in it. And I think this is no different than what happened. And I think a lot of people went to this as a confirmation bias because the last special that he did pissed a lot of people off from the LGBTQ plus community, and I don't see why you would even watch this one. Mm-hmm. So it leads me to believe that it was more or less to watch something that would trigger you and then respond to it versus then actually try to grasp the comedy.
Yeah. The first, so I watched the special last Friday, I think. So it had been out, a few days prior to me watching it. So I was seeing the backlash and, people talking about Dave Chappelle, but I tried to avoid all of the narratives just because I like to experience stuff in its rawest form.
Right.
You know what I mean? So when I watched it, and I heard a few things here and there, just reading headlines and stuff like that. But when I watched it, by the time it got to the end, I was like, oh, they didn't watch the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And obviously, I'm not part of that community, so I can't speak as far as like how they're feeling about certain things. Mm-hmm. But just the tone of the special lets me know that they weren't fully listening. They were going in there with the intent of being angry at Dave Chappelle.
It's confirmation bias.
Yeah, exactly. So it was one of those things where I almost wish that I can't tell somebody how to feel, but I almost wish that we would stop having these conversations about comedy. Like,
right.
It's kind of tiresome when you hear and this has happened to Dave Chappelle since probably after since like cell phones have been more popularized. There was people in like the New York Times and different newspapers that were writing statements about jokes that he was working out in open mics and stuff like that. And for people that understand comedy, basically when you have a joke and when you're working on a special or whatever, a lot of times you're going to these open mics, you're doing a 5-minute to 10-minute set. Right. And it's just a premise you have. So, he may have a premise about the LGBT community or whatever the case may be. So he's going up there and he's just, throwing ideas, or he may be having a conversation, and it's not a fully fleshed out thing that he's going to say on Netflix. But it's just an idea he has. So basically the person I was writing, the journalist I was writing that article, went back and wrote that in the newspaper as if like he truly believes these ideas. And another thing that people don't understand, that it's a joke. Like it's not, sometimes they say like it's some truth in jokes and stuff like that. Or if you're telling a joke, it's something that you may believe. That's not always the case. You know what I mean? Sometimes where I won't even say weird, but even on the podcast, like, we may make fun of Asians or Mexicans or white people or whatever the case may be, or even gay people, but it's like it's not meant to be malicious. It's meant to be ironic, or it's just meant to be funny, and that's kind of where the extent of it is. I think maybe because Dave Chappelle is an intellect, and maybe because he's kind of put himself in a position to where he's like a George Carlin kind of, where you know you can see some of his things and you're like, this guy is a comedian. Mm-hmm. He looks more like an activist or something like that. Yeah. But it's I think, like you were saying, like a lot of people are going to these shows for the confirmation bias. They're are watching this show on Netflix just to be angry, just to have the Twitter fingers, or to try to cancel somebody like Dave Chappelle. Was like not really.
I think the problem too is people were concurrently trying to cancel him, meaning they're watching it and he says something, they go right to Twitter. Oh, you're not even waiting for him to add context. Mm-hmm. You're just doing it concurrently while you're watching it. Mm-hmm. You got your arms folded, you're all mad. And it's just like, it's stop this shit. Stop it with comedy. If someone on the street says something transphobic, that's a different story. That person's openly trying to be malicious, right? If he's like, forget trans people or this, or they say something homophobic, that's a different thing. But in the realm of comedy, when someone takes the time to craft out a joke and they do it in such a way where it triggers laughter, then it ain't racist or it's not transphobic. Mm-hmm. I remember, for example, Andrew Schultz, one of my favorite comedians. He mentioned one time he was doing like some crowd work, and this black dude showed up late to the show and he had a bag of McDonald's in his hand. He's like, look at this shit. Ain't this the blackest shit ever? He showed up late and he brought chicken. And everybody started laughing. It was a funny fucking joke. But I bet you there were some black people that were triggered and they was like, oh, he racist. I can't watch this no more. It's like, bro, comedy is not meant for you. Comedy is not a safe space for anybody. It's only a safe space for people who are tired of political correctness and go to laugh. If you don't go to laugh, stay your ass at home.
Yeah.
And if you can't watch comedy, then turn it the fuck off. There's certain comedians that do that political shit that aligns like Hodge twins. I can't fucking stand Hodge twins. Not because they're conservative, but because they pander to the conservative line in their comedy. That ain't fucking comedy. You're saying everything that group wants you to say, and they find it funny only because they subscribe to this echo chamber. The same thing as Amanda Seales. Amanda Seales is really not a comedian. She's like this activist person that is saying these things, and it kind of aligns with a lot of liberal ideology. So there's no real jokes. It's just a group of people laughing at it. So if you want to listen to that comedy, go ahead. But I'd rather listen to Andrew Schultz or fucking Dave Chappelle or people who dip and dabble into many different facets of life and topics.
And people who take risks.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I think if you're that safe comedy, or like if you're a conservative and you're kind of making comedy towards a conservative audience, it's just very safe, and you know you're gonna get easy laughs. But you know when you're kind of walking the line, or like saying the most edgiest thing you can, I think that's what makes comedy like special to me. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, and think about it. Like I've had so many different. I have a page. I have like a big thing in my phone full of jokes that I write, and I have like a bunch of things I've printed out. And I thought of this joke, but I literally canned it because I didn't know how people would respond to it. And it wasn't racist. It was kind of like a life experience, right? I basically the joke or the premise of it was, you know how Mexican people always know somebody that can do everything, right? They'll be like, dang, man, I got all these medical bills. I got to pay for my aunt's brain surgery. It's really expensive. Like, hey, fool, hit mi abuela. She does the surgery for the low, fool. Right?
That's true. I was working on the house the other day, and my boy came over, and then he called his uncle. He FaceTimed him, and he was like, yo, what can we do with the shower? Or we could add an extension onto this. And he was like, yeah, just, you know, if you pay for the materials, I can go out there and help you and all this.
Yeah, like, they know somebody can do everything. You'd be like, oh, man, my car broke down. Oh, hey, let me hit up my Theo, fool. He's a mechanic. You're like, damn.
Yeah, man, that's funny.
Man, my house fell down during the tornado. It's like, no, it'd be like, oh, my aunt's house flooded in the New Orleans flood. He's like, oh, my cousin lives in New Orleans. Just hit him up, fool. Here's his number. He does it for the low, bro.
He's Creole and Mexican, fool.
Yeah, he's half Creole. He's half black, half Mexican, fool. They do it. Yeah, man. But the thing about it is when you embed these jokes in there, and here's the thing, you have to take the time to like actually find the comedic value in the joke, and it also be relatable to the people you're like, I guess, poking fun at or using as the topic of discussion. Like if you make fun of black people, and let's say you're a white dude, and you say something like, "There's not enough cocoa butter in the world to stop an ashy black man," or something like that. Everybody starts laughing because cocoa butter is a very relatable thing to black people. So that means you kind of took the time to craft this joke around black culture. The same thing, whether it be with Mexican or Asian or whatever. You know,
I just think like where I was telling you earlier, I was like, I think that some people are built for that type of comedy and some people aren't.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I like the thing that's annoying about that confirmation bias or people going in there is like, they already know that they are going to be offended. You know what I mean? It's kind of one of those things where you're just like intentionally hurting yourself. It's like for us, we're built a little bit different. Like even the tone of our podcast is a little edgy at times.
Right.
You know, we just had a whole little thing about Mexican people just now. And it's not even us trying. It's just an inherent thing that where we just have in us. And I think I was watching this movie when I was I don't know when Hardball came out or how old I was, but I was watching the movie, and this is after like maybe a year or so after the movie came out, and me and my aunts, we were watching it like on VHS or whatever, and we're watching it, and it's a part of the movie where the little fat kid gets jumped or something after he's I think he's walking home in the projects and he get jumped, and we're watching it, and like as he's getting kicked and punched or something, he just kind of let out like a fat kid noise, like a and like he just getting beat up, and I can remember like
that nigga sound like Biggie.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So he made one of those like weird noises, and I could remember, and not the first time I watched it. This is probably like the third or fourth time I had watched it, but I could just remember just dying laughing. And it was so funny to me. Like, of course, it's sad that he's getting beat up and whatnot, but it was so funny to me that I just laughed out loud. And everybody around me is like, yo, like, what's wrong with you? Why are you laughing? Yeah, why are you laughing? And my aunt, like, she reminded me of this, like, a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and she was like, yo, you ruined that, not in like a bad way, but she was like, yo, I can never watch that movie the same way again, because every time I watch that part of the movie, like I'm supposed to be sad, but I could just remember you laughing at it.
Yeah.
And I say that to say that like that's in us. You know what I mean? We can find the funny in some of those like sad situations. We can find the funny in, just kind of Mexicans being able to do everything, or Mexicans having access to a bunch of people that work on different things.
She does brain surgery, fool.
Yeah.
Hit me, Thea. She does brain surgery for the low, homie. Hit her up, fool. You don't got to go to KMC, homie. Just hit her up, fool.
You heard of a BBL? We got MBLs, a Mexican butt lift.
Oh, instead of the Brazilian one? Used to. Oh, you crazy.
Yeah. But that's the thing, like, but even for me, I don't know, I can't really point out something that that I would deem offensive. I guess it's some social commentary, like some conservative rhetoric, or a Candace Owens or something like that, or Tommy Lahren. I know that I am offended by a lot of the things that they say. Mm-hmm. So for me, I'm not going on, I don't even know where Tommy Lahren is these days, but I'm not going on her platforms and just consuming that information, because I know that I would get frustrated listening to that. And the same thing with Candace Owens. I'm not just following her Instagram page and whatnot just to be offended. So I just stay in the spaces that I'm comfortable with. So I just don't understand how people can just turn on Netflix in like their carousel or whatever of stuff they've watched.
Click right on it.
Yeah, it's probably stuff that has that, like Dave Chappelle is over here, and a lot of the stuff that they consume is over here. It's probably like, the kind of happy sitcoms and the LGBTQ friendly, they got a whole section
Black Lives Matter now.
Yeah, they're watching all of this super liberal stuff, and then all of a sudden Dave Chappelle comes on, and they're just like, oh, I should get offended today. Let me watch this.
Yeah, let me get offended.
Yeah.
Turn this on. Yeah, man. And, when it comes to, this is what keeps me objective too, like when it comes to Tommy Lahren or Candace Owens and some shit that I don't agree with. For one, I don't visit the platform to be triggered, and two, they said some things that I totally agree with. Mm-hmm. So what I do is what keeps me objective is like, hey, I know that scene, you were full of shit when you said that, and that, but I agree with that too. Mm-hmm. But I don't keep offering myself up to a platform to be offended. It's like, okay, I don't fuck with pizza that has pineapples on it. I don't like it. Mm-hmm. Just pineapples on pizza to me is just a fucked up concept. I just don't. Just no. But imagine if I only ordered pizza with pineapples on it and all I did was complain about it.
Yeah.
If I'm eating a slice of pizza with pineapples, like, oh, this shit is so fucking nasty. Well, who would ever put pineapples on pizza? That's how you sound when you complain about Dave Chappelle.
That's the thing, like, I told you, like, I don't go to La Mina. Like, my boys, they have a show there every Wednesday or something like that, where they do like open mics there.
Right.
I'm not showing up there for no reason. And that's because I think the establishment is racist, and I've worked there before, and I think that the bosses or the owner is a little bit insensitive and stuff like that. So for me, I'm not stepping foot in there. If I were that same culture of people that got offended by Dave Chappelle, I would show up to La Mina every single week on a Friday or a Thursday, eat the food there and be like, man, I just don't like the way the employees treat me because I'm black, or I don't like the way that the such and such does this. But it's like, no, I just stay away from it. I just stay in my own lane.
Yeah, I think we need to learn that as Americans. We need to learn that everything is not for you.
Yeah.
And you need to chill. But more importantly, I think we're missing some things. One of them is towards the end of the comedy special, he mentioned his relationship with a trans woman. He had a friendship with a trans woman named Daphne that was a comedian. And she was coming to all of his shows, and he noticed her, and they talked, and they forged a relationship, or they had a relationship as friends. And he said, you know what? When I go to this spot, you'll open up for me.
Yeah.
And he said that he's like...
San Francisco, right?
Yeah, San Francisco. He said she did 45 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
And he said that was some of the worst bombing I ever seen.
She bombed for 45 minutes.
Yeah, and I think the crowd was kind of setting up for like this great story, but he's like, she fucking bombed. By the way, the whole time he did not misgender Daphne. He said
only on purpose.
Only on purpose. It was intentional. Like when he mentioned, like, and then I told her she could open for me, and then she just gave me a hug, and I was like, and I pushed her because I'm transphobic. I was like, get off me.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
And then at the end, basically, or he talked about the experience with the show, and finally, once she got off stage and she stunk it up, he got up there and he said she sat right in the front and taking like a master class of how to do it. And he said that they were having like a back and forth banter, and she was responding to stuff. And he said some asshole in the audience says like, "Hey, does the carpet match the drapes?" And Daphne said, "I have hardwood flooring," and everyone started busting up laughing.
Yeah.
And from that night, Daphne set the tone for everybody that was in the audience, and she just had a great time. And then unfortunately, like after that, people were coming out to Dave, calling him transphobic and this and that, and all of these things on Twitter. And Daphne went and defended him. And they fucking chastised Daphne like a motherfucker. They just they shitted on her, and people was tagging each other and just abusing her on there. And literally a week later, she took her own life. Now, what I'm not going to do, because I feel like I won't say it's irresponsible, but it's a lot. Now, we would assume that, hey, somebody's getting internet bullied and then they take their life, you will find like a correlation with those two things. So, but I can't just say that that's why she took her life, right? Dave Chappelle mentioned that she jumped off a building and killed herself. And he said, like, he
made a joke.
He made a joke about this. He made a joke about the suicide. He said that had to be a man, because that's the most gangster shit I ever fucking heard. And he said, you know what? And Daphne would laugh at that joke because she was my people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And
he mentioned the whole idea of punching down, saying like, you're punching down on our people. He said Daphne was my people. She was a comedian, and basically at the end he said something like. At the very end, he says something about, he's like, stop punching down on my people. And he was talking about Daphne, who was a trans woman. But he was mourning through a comedic lens. So he was openly mourning, on stage through a comedic lens. But a lot of people that don't understand the art form of comedy would just say, transphobic. You're not even taking the time to really like comprehend how he's telling the jokes and in which way he's telling them, and how he's kind of like mixing these different scenarios to really help you understand what's going on. Then he also mentioned he's not making any more jokes about LGBT anymore. Until like he said, I forgot what the conditions were.
Yeah, I think the thing that I feel bad for the people that just are trying to be offended or that are offended is that you're missing out on greatness.
Right.
Like it's only, if we equate like the greatest of whatever genres or mediums, like the Michael Jacksons, the Michael Jordans,
right,
the LeBron Jameses, the Dave Chappelles and the Denzel Washingtons, all these like greatest of whatever medium. Right. You're almost missing out on so much just because you're trying to be offended. Like what he did that with that special and the way he set it up by kind of just talking about the LGBT community, and then like in the last 20 minutes or so telling this, story about Daphne, and then, bringing it back home, and then almost walking the line of like being trans, phobic or whatever, or, discriminating against trans people in the first kind of half of the special. And then only to come in at the last half of it and tell this amazing story about how one of his really good friends was a trans woman.
Yeah.
And then to cap it off with the fact that, she took her life a week after she defended Dave Chappelle for, not being transphobic. But she was also being railroaded by LGBT community.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just that's amazing.
And what it is here's the problem is that whenever you say anything, you're going to be invalidated. So, for example, he mentioned Daphne and people said, stop using Daphne as damage control. You're transphobic. What it really means is you can't say anything. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter what you say. Mm-hmm. You could literally support trans people and they would still call you transphobic. The same way to this very day, people hate Michael Vick for what he did to those dogs. It was wrong what he did to those dogs.
Yeah.
Right? And a lot of people who love dogs hate Michael Vick. That's fine. And some people will never forgive him. He got to take that up with God. So I don't want to make that correlation or that comparison. But at the same time, it's like, it doesn't matter what you do. People, if they're fixed on hating you, they will always fucking hate you.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all it is. Mm-hmm. And not to mention, the people that are calling Dave transphobic, they need to understand that the family of Daphne came out and also defended Dave Chappelle. Mm-hmm. And you're invalidating the family of a trans person that took their life. And they're coming to the defense of Dave after the death of their family member. What does that say about the relationship between them two?
Not to mention that he set up a trust fund for his daughter.
For her daughter.
Yeah.
Which is it's crazy, man. Mm-hmm. He said, hopefully I'm still around that when she turns 21, I could give her the money and tell her how much of a great father her mom was or something like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I was just like, man, this is a crazy story. And I think people who just wanted to be offended, they lost out on so much.
It's so much of a journey, like a mental journey to understanding that community. And even there, like one of the most profound statements he said, and I'm paraphrasing here, but when he was talking to Daphne, and Daphne was like, when they were having that back and forth conversation, he was just basically saying, like, I don't understand what's going on here. And he's asking these questions and he's trying to gain understanding. And basically Daphne said is just respect the fact that I'm having a human experience. Yeah. And I was just like, man, I think that sums it up for even a person like me that doesn't fully understand a lot of that community. And it's not necessarily for us to understand, but if you kind of equate it to just people having emotions and people having feelings and people learning about themselves and all those kind of things, you're like, oh, okay, I can equate that to me and my own maturation of being a man and understand, like, not to diminish their plight, but like maybe my journey to being like more financially literate and then discovering themselves or their sexuality or who they really are and those kind of things. So it's just like, I think that statement was amazing.
What a lot of trans people and people who are, what a lot of trans people need to understand too is they need to understand that we don't understand.
Yeah.
Right? And by that, I mean, if you don't understand, that doesn't make you trans. Mm-hmm. It make you transphobic if you're overtly saying transphobic things to people, treating people differently, openly being fucked up for no reason. Then then that's transphobic or what do you call it? Transphobic or what's the other phobic?
Homophobic.
Mm-hmm. But if you don't understand, it doesn't make you a bad person. Mm-hmm. But you also doesn't mean you need to be like, I don't get it. I don't understand.
Yeah.
I'm more or less.
That's kind of a cop out too.
That's a cop
I hate
out.
when people do that.
Don't do that. Yeah.
Like, I mean, this is a sidebar, but
Yeah.
when Stephen A. Smith just talked about Urban Meyer, he's like, I haven't seen the video yet, but what I read, it's like Stephen A. It's a 30-second video. Just watch the video.
Yeah. But when you say I don't understand, like, and you say that over and over, you're kind of basically saying I don't give a fuck and I don't want to know.
That's what it sounds like.
That's what it sounds like. Like you don't want to know. So when a person says a trans woman is a woman, if I say I don't understand that concept, it's not me coming from an idea of like, fuck your plight, fuck trans people. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I don't understand because my whole life, according to biology and other things, I've learned of male and female. So now this is something that I have not grasped and I don't understand all the nuances or the endless nuances of this. And when it's displayed to people who want to have the conversation, it's not easily digestible because there's so many terms, there's so many new languages that you also don't understand. People, this is new, believe it or not.
Yeah.
People say it's not new, like it's been trans people, but this is the first time that it has been socially acceptable for trans people and to have a voice.
Y'all got your own bathrooms.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, not just the trans bathroom, but it's like not like because
It's all genders.
Yeah, all gender bathrooms. Yeah.
Yeah, but when it's all genders, the difference is it's only one stall. It's not multiple stalls.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
You know the one I seen it made me laugh. It said all genders, but it showed like somebody in a wheelchair. Swear to God, I put it on Instagram. It said all genders bathroom, but it just showed a person in a wheelchair. So it's like I just didn't get it. Like usually with all genders, it shows like a person in a dress and then a guy.
Yeah,
it shows those two. But this one didn't have those icons.
Yeah,
it just showed a wheelchair and it said all genders.
Yeah,
I was like, "Is this a wheelchair genders bathroom only?
No, wheelchair gender.
Is this a they bathroom?" Like even that joke would be seen as transphobic.
Yeah,
and it's like, man, at the end of the day, we have to understand that we can't live in a world that's tailored to us. I remember somebody recently told me, "Hey, can you not curse in front of my kid, please?" I'm thinking to myself, I just ignored it, but at the same time, I'm thinking like, you do realize that this world is not going to stop for your kid, right? It's not how the fucking world works. The world doesn't work according to your child's ears. Yeah. I guarantee you, when you walk out that door, there's going to be somebody in the parking lot talking about eating pussy.
Yeah.
They'll be like, yeah, so I was eating my wife's pussy, right? And she was screaming, hey, you're in front of my son. Can you please not do that? Like I was saying, I was eating the pussy, right?
Yeah. I don't understand that. You can't really.
Yeah.
Can't tell another grown man how to talk.
No, you can't.
Yeah, it just doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, how old was the kid?
Oh man, he's probably like 3 or something. That kid's got the fucking internet. He's heard all kind of shit. Yeah. You discover a lot of things when you're young, especially now. It's way too accessible. So like you're telling me, please don't cuss in front of my kid, but I guarantee when your kid goes home and gets on that internet with that tablet, he's on Instagram, liking pictures of chicks on Instagram with their titties all out.
At 3?
Oh, yeah.
They ain't not doing that.
Kids know what titties is at 3 years old.
They know what titties is, but they ain't scrolling through Instagram.
Because they were interested in them because, like, all they seen was their mama's titties, and now they want to see other ones.
Some other ones, huh? Yeah.
They went from being breastfed to going to Instagram.
Dang, that's a clean transition.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Seamless. Went from sucking boobs to liking pictures of them.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, I just think that just overall, I just wish that we were able to have an actual conversation about the subject matter versus like having a conversation about why people should be offended or not. Because I think more so what another theme of that special was like how we're supposed to be able to have dialogue about these things. They're so quick to try to cancel Dave Chappelle that you kind of remove the ability for him to or for us to have dialogue and also for us to actually learn because you're just so quick to try to cancel him. And I think that's the biggest thing for him and and a lot of us too. Like a lot of us are not transphobic or homophobic or whatever the case may be, but a lot of us just are ignorant or we just don't know about, what the certain plights are and stuff like that. But if you're so quick to try to cancel somebody versus like, teach them or try to show them certain things, then it just kind of removes that opportunity to learn.
True.
So
100%, man. Mm-hmm. But we don't want to beat this over the head. We strongly encourage people to check that out if you can handle it. Mm-hmm. I think what's dope too is just to tie it all in. The people who listen to this podcast or who have been listening for some years, I think we've developed. I won't say develop. I think we have a group of people who can think objectively, who don't listen to this podcast to be offended, and who also have listened to us long enough to have somewhat of an idea of what our character is like. So it's a really personal thing. This is a lot more personal than stand-up comedy. Comedy will last about an hour at the most, but we're doing this for 2+ hours. So we're having these long-form conversations, and you guys are getting to see us from so many different angles on the fly. So when we do crack a joke, and it's whether it's about Asians or Jews or Mexicans or whoever, it's a tasteful joke, and you understand our psychology enough to know who we are. But the problem with Dave is he's up there an hour and he's got a bunch of casuals. I feel like Andrew Schultz is in a better position than Dave Chappelle, only because
he's white.
No, not because he's white. Andrew Schultz is in a better position than Dave Chappelle because his people show up to the show. And what I mean by his people is Andrew Schultz, people who listen to Flagrant 2, people who listen to Brilliant Idiots, who have got to know him over the years, and people who buy his merch, and people who are part of his Patreon. When those people show up to his show, those are his people. Dave Chappelle, I would compare Dave Chappelle to Drake. Yeah. Because Drake is a huge artist, but he has a bunch of casuals.
Yeah.
Right? But it's different than being J. Cole. J. Cole's people show up to the show.
I would say that.
Russ's people show up to the show.
I agree with that, but it's also because of how long Dave Chappelle's been famous.
That's true.
Yeah.
Before the internet blew up.
Yeah, prior to the internet. And also he's had a shift in the way that he tells comedy or tells jokes. Like, a lot of his, not fart jokes literally, but a lot of his early material, it wasn't as dense as it is now.
Yeah.
So he's had a whole shift in the way he even, communicates. And I think he's just older, you know what I mean? Like he did a whole
just using comedy as the medium to get his expression out.
That's just what he's good at. But I mean, I would be curious, to see like how the shift in like the people's conversations when Andrew Schultz is, 10, 15 years down the line, when he's the same age as Dave Chappelle, like how the core audience would act, versus listening to some of his takes on the world. So,
yeah, that's a good point. All right, well, folks, we're not gonna beat this down. How long have we been talking about this, man?
38 minutes.
Shoot, I think you guys had enough. Have you guys had enough of Dave Chappelle? Do you want more? All right, we'll move on then. All right, switching gears. Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish recently blamed her giant boobs on her losing followers on Instagram. I know this may sound like a lie or something, or it may sound far-fetched, but she literally blamed her boobs for losing followers on Instagram. And here is the article.
The heavies, as Andrew Schultz would say.
Yes, the heavies. Billie Eilish says she lost 100,000 Instagram followers because people are scared of big boobs. She said, hold on. Billie Eilish says she lost 100,000 followers on Instagram after posting a photo of herself in a corset. It was just because of the boobs, the singer said. On July 11th, the Grammy-winning artist posted a series of selfies showing herself wearing a whatever the hell it's called, print corset and lace bra peeking out. People left comments saying Eilish was being disingenuous and claimed the industry really changed her. Eilish has been stepping outside of the baggy clothes styles that used to be her go-to fashion choice. Her June 2021 Vogue marked the first time Billie Eilish shared photos of herself wearing a corset on Instagram. People hold on to these memories and have an attachment, but it's very dehumanizing, she said. I just think here's the problem, right? And this picture got 14 million likes. Mm-hmm. Okay, let me just come out and say this. She's got some nice breasts. But the thing about it is, nobody's afraid of big breasts, man. Stop it. We live in a culture that celebrates big breasts. Mm-hmm. We like everything big, especially in Texas. They like everything big there. You guys ain't never heard of Dolly Parton?
Yeah, Dolly had the dollies.
Yeah, Dolly had big breasts before it was like really a thing. Mm-hmm. You know, y'all ain't never heard of Anna Nicole Smith or Pamela Anderson? Mm-hmm. Like these are all people that historically have had big breasts. Mm-hmm. But I think we try to make people the way we want them to be, which is strange. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people that probably unfollowed her probably thought like she's like this and she reminds me of myself and this is why I follow her. And then she just decided to show her breasts and now it's a problem.
Yeah.
Like you're the weirdo, not Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish is just trying to be herself. By the way, she's fucking 19. Mm-hmm. So her making this claim that she lost followers because of her breasts, that's just ignorant in itself. That's just dumb. And I really don't give a fuck to really listen to a 19-year-old because they don't know shit. Mm-hmm. Like your brain, your frontal cortex or your frontal lobe is not even developed until your late 20s. Mm-hmm. So you really don't know shit. You're just out here running around. Why do you think there's so many teen pregnancies and all kind of wild shit that happens in your 20s? Mm-hmm. It's because your brain is still developing and it is still like jello. Mm-hmm. So right now, Billie Eilish has adult boobs with the child's brain. And that's some of the problem right here.
Yeah. I think, she has 93.5 million followers right now.
That's fucking nuts.
So I don't even know how she can equate losing 100,000 followers.
I don't know who's tracking this shit.
Yeah, that's a blip on your freaking... Yeah, that's a small percentage of your followers. So I don't even know how she gauged that. Maybe it was just like she has a ticker or something. Who knows? About the boob thing, I think she was partially joking because she understands, and I know she understands this because she understands her following. She's a kind of like an emo artist, so there's a lot of like kind of sad emo kids that like her music. And then also she branded herself, and I guess what a lot of people don't understand, I think she signed her deal when she was like 15 years old or something like that.
Crazy.
So she's just a kid, you know what I mean? She just like she was going, I'm gonna say it, like I guess she's just going through a phase, you know what I mean, where she was dressing a certain way, and now that she's 19 years old or whatever, now she's stepping into her womanhood, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And some of this may be just like an artistic choice, you know what I mean? Like she's doing the Vogue magazines and all these different magazine covers, so she wants to like dress elegant. Or just kind of everybody. I mean, if you think about The Weeknd, like every time he has an album roll out, he kind of like, he started out with the nasty dreads and then he got his hair cut. And, you know, now he, in his latest album, he had the whole plastic surgery face and stuff like that. So it's just like, you know, people kind of have these artistic expressions based off of where they are in life.
Right.
But I think that the conversation, you know, piggybacking off of that conversation we had about Daphne and Dave Chappelle, I think this conversation kind of aligns with that because there's a community of people that and maybe part of the LGBT community that just kind of liked Billie Eilish because she had this kind of like androgynous look to her.
Right.
And, you know, and I think for a long time, people may not have even known of her sexuality or they may have...
she had that pansexual vibe.
Yeah, exactly. And she might have said she was bisexual or she came off as bisexual, whatever the case may be. But I think a lot of people assumed a lot of things about her. And for me, I think I even assumed that she was like strictly lesbian or something like that. But then I watched her documentary on, I think it was on Apple TV or something like that. Yeah. And she had a boyfriend. And I was just like, oh, dang, that was kind of like peculiar to me.
Right.
And it was a black dude, you know, even That was kind of like, oh, okay.
He looked like Keith.
Heck no. He looked like a little something, whatever. But yeah, I think that, you know, like we as fans of these artists, and that's kind of like, we talked about it before, like J. Cole's explanation of like how we're infatuated with celebrity and how there's danger in that, right? Because you can be let down in so many different ways.
Yes.
And some of it may be let down in like a negative way, like R. Kelly. Like if you're a huge fan of R. Kelly, you're like, oh man, he's going to prison for, you know, molesting these kids or whatever. And even let down in like a dumb way, as far as like this. Like if you're idolizing Billie Eilish and you're like, she's the lesbian woman that I idolize, and you got posters of her all around your room, and then it's just like, oh, now she's wearing dresses and showing her boobs. Like, I don't even like her music anymore. You throwing her CDs out and unfollowing her and stuff.
Bro, I don't know why I thought about this. Have you ever heard of Xena, the Warrior Princess? Mm-hmm. Back in the day, it had a huge lesbian following.
Yeah.
Huge, right? And I don't know why.
She was like kind of masculine.
Yeah, she was sexy, but she kind of had like this kind of I won't say masculine, but she kind of had a little bit more muscles and stuff. But it had a huge lesbian following.
Yeah.
Sometimes these followings happen organically. Like nobody really knows why. Such as like a show like Matlock. You remember Matlock? It had a huge senior citizen following, right? So what happens is this community of people, whatever they are, old, black, white, whatever, they gravitate to this content or this thing, and they kind of feel like they have ownership of it.
Yeah.
And when that content does anything different from what's in conjunction with how you feel about it, you're like, how dare you?
Yeah.
You know, if it's black people that support this thing, and then he or she says something that, you coon. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the same thing that happened with Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish been wearing all these sweaters and shit all these years, and then she took the sweater off and got some big old titties, and now it's a problem.
Yeah.
You can't even have big breasts anymore, man. This ain't right.
Can't have double D's no more.
We need to lift up women's voices, bro. We need to stop this nonsense. We need to support women.
That's the thing. It's so hypocritical all the time, and that's the danger of having these like strong stances, because, on one end, you can have this idea like women should be able to, you know, empower sex workers, or sex work is a real job, and you know, this whole, we got to stop body shaming and all this stuff, and that's the rhetoric that a lot of these like liberals speak, right? But then when somebody like Billie Eilish is just having a human experience and trying to like show her womanhood, or however she describes it,
same group canceled.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I just wish that group of people really understood how hypocritical they are, and it's just kind of annoying.
Yeah, that's true. That's just really strange too. I just the whole idea that big boobs can run off followers is the most hilarious fucking thing ever.
Yeah.
Do you not pay attention to Instagram?
It should gain followers.
Oh yeah. There's women out there that don't create any content of anything of at all. Like they just exist, and they're pretty, and they got a gang of followers just from being pretty and having big breasts. I'm not hating on them. I'm just saying that's the reality. The reality of it is the girl down the street can have 250,000 followers and just be a regular person working a regular job, but she's just super hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The world would probably end if Billie Eilish put a OnlyFans link in her bio.
Ooh, be over with.
She'll lose so many followers and gain so much money.
Billie Eilish, like, I don't like her music. I don't want to talk about her music because saying it's good or bad is subjective. But she'd be like, I've been in the trouble, I'm like, nigga, what the fuck is this?
She'd be like whispering. I think she's super talented. I think I don't listen to her music. Right. I have listened to like her album and stuff like that. It took me a while to kind of, I think I appreciate her more than I appreciate her talent as a talent more than I actually like and listen to her music. Right.
I can still respect the fact that you have talent. It may be a talent that I can't really comprehend, but it doesn't mean you're not talented.
Yeah, exactly. So
she reminds me of Adele, and the reason why is because Adele has this specific sound that she does, and she really doesn't do anything else. Like every Adele song is somehow a heartbreak. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a heartbreak anthem.
Yeah. What was that one song she used to have? I set fire to the rain. Yeah. Adele thick.
Nah, Adele done in the gym.
Bro, I don't care. I would take big Adele, small Adele.
If Adele,
I'll take Adele in a box with the fox, here or there, anywhere.
yeah.
I will take green eggs and Adele.
She kind of looks different now.
Yeah.
That she slimmed down. I think she's about to have another album run. Because I seen them posting that.
Can you imagine what that album's gonna sound like when it come out, the new one?
What you mean?
No, I said niggas ain't shit. She got dreads now.
Yeah.
Well, not dreads, but she got braids.
She was dating that one dude,
The black
rapper.
dude. Yeah, she going through a black guy phase.
Dang.
A lot of women don't admit it, but they go through like a black guy phase.
Yeah.
Where it's like, they don't don't really like want to be in a relationship with a black guy, but they just like experience them.
Yeah.
And then for that glimmer in time, they like have braids or something.
Yeah.
They listen to a little more rap than they normally would listen to.
And culture.
And then after a couple months, they just break away from the black guy.
She'll settle down with a white lawyer or something. All the black listeners know the one white girl in high school or college that experimented with black people, and by the time she got married and had kids and stuff, it was just the typical white guy.
Yeah. If it's like a white chick, she probably, she experienced a black guy and she's like, I know how to cook collard greens. And she goes through that little phase.
Yeah.
And then she leaves the black guy. Now she's with a Mexican guy and she's like, I just love gordita crunches.
She would have to do a lot of explaining to that white lawyer husband when she know how to make macaroni and cheese and chicken and stuff.
Not even that. It's gonna be laundry day, right? And in laundry day, he's gonna be folding clothes, and then she gonna have a Latino Heritage Month and a Black History Month T-shirt. He's like, "Hey, where'd you get this at? Why is it a 5X T-shirt? Why did it say Deontay Wilder on it?
Why do you have these Jordan 1s in your closet?
Why do you have handcuffs and furry dice in here?
Why do you have extra large Magnum condoms in here?
Oh, God. Why do you have wave grease in here?
Why do you have cocoa butter in here?
Why do you have a pair of huaraches in here? I got some huaraches.
That's crazy.
Your wife is very cultured, sir.
That's wild.
Yeah. There's that. Switching gears.
Leave Billie Eilish's titties alone.
That's not right. Yeah.
Yeah.
We standing up.
Yeah.
Lift white voices.
That's crazy.
All right. Switching gears. Facebook was down. Facebook and Instagram was down for 6 hours. And a lot of people in that.
And WhatsApp.
Oh, WhatsApp? I've never even used that. I barely know what that is.
It's more of an international thing. Like if you have like family in Africa or different countries, like a lot of people communicate through WhatsApp.
Oh, what is it? Video stuff?
It's just a chat almost, It's just like, I would equate it to like Facebook Messenger, but it's just its own platform that it's more what a lot of international people use, so they don't have to text, people in different countries and stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, there's not much to really say. Now, Facebook and Instagram were down. I guess they were doing some maintenance. It was down for a total of around 6 hours. And in that moment, I think a lot of people were frustrated. And they were frustrated because their lifeline is Facebook and Instagram. This is where they get their news. This is where they get their gossip. This is where they get everything. And what happens is they've allowed their phone and these apps to influence everything they do. And there were some people that were saying like, I was stressed out because Instagram was down, or I was stressed out because Facebook was down. And it's like when you allow something like social media to influence your everyday behavior, you got a problem. You got a problem. I remember when it went down, I went to like open it up just to look at something, and it wasn't. I was like, I guess it's down, whatever. And then I just turned on a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I turned on a podcast and listened to it, and then I listened to another podcast, and then I think I went to it again, and it looked like it was still funky. I was like, oh, well, this shit's fucked up. I guess I'll try it another time.
Yeah.
Like, Instagram doesn't influence my life,
mm-hmm.
you know, but I have been using TikTok a little bit more.
Yeah, there was I was going to tell you this, and this is like a side tangent. I think like for the both of us, we should make a goal to post like for a certain amount of days, like like a 2-week period of just, you know, whether you got like a thought about a current event or something like that. And I think that will, you know, just kind of help you grow your TikTok and stuff. And me too, you know, just being more consistent with different stuff. So.
Yeah, follow us on TikTok, man. At A Trucker's Mind Podcast. I'm on TikTok.
Yes, sir.
At A Trucker's Mind Podcast. And it's the podcast TikTok, but me and Keith have separate ones.
Yeah,
Keith is
K-Fings.
Keith is Black Nerd 69 on TikTok.
Black Stanley.
That'd be crazy. I bet you there's somebody when TikTok first started, they probably had straight just nasty shit on there.
Yeah,
because it's deeply embedded in that on TikTok. Because some shit can get on there that shouldn't be on there.
Yeah, it do be some stuff, especially like when the Busted Challenge and all that was coming out. There was some stuff sneaking on there. I was like, yeah, this is low key porno.
Yeah. You know what's weird is when you're going through your feed and you're swiping up on TikTok and all of a sudden you see like a video. Or no, like a live feed of somebody you don't know.
Yeah, I hate that.
It's like, I don't want to see it. And it's usually the same type of content. It's usually somebody trying to get attention. You know, they like half naked or some shit. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck about this. And I hold the screen and put not interested.
Yeah. The worst ones be like, so I'd be seeing that like the nasty stuff sometimes. But sometimes it'd be like, you'll just keep scrolling and it'll be one guy like, hey guys, if you're interested in real estate, you should do this. And the next one, it'll be like, hey guys, if you want to start a podcast, you should do this. And then the next one would be like B7. It'd just be like a bingo game that they're doing virtually. And I'd be like, what the heck?
It'd be a bunch of old motherfuckers like, huh? You said B9?
Yeah. So, yeah.
Anybody that had to go to or went to bingo night with your grandparents or your grandma or whoever, you realize how boring bingo is. You know, you're there.
A dry game.
Have you ever done bingo before? Bingo night?
Nah, not like with the elderly people, no.
Yeah, I've done it before. I was young and I was just like, what is this? I remember, I forgot where I was at. It was an elderly person. I think I was on the Get bus. I think I was in college. And you know how elderly people like to do crossword puzzles? And I was like looking through the puzzle and I was just crossing them out. She's like, you doing them too fast. Just give it back.
This is a slow game.
Yeah, I was just, help, hard, work, chicken, butter.
Yeah. Like, that's funny.
You doing this too fast. Just stop.
That's hilarious.
Because you know they got all the words at the top?
Yeah.
I probably did like 15 words in like 3 minutes.
Yeah, just knocking them out.
It's like, you know how that Matrix got that green screen with shit floating on it?
Yeah.
Like I just like decoded the Matrix.
The words.
Just seeing the words pop up. Tuna, bacon, craftsmanship.
That was funny.
Yeah, man.
But as far as Facebook and stuff, it's crazy because the way I found out about it, you know, some of you guys know I have an app, and they're doing these updates to the app. So the guys that are the developers that I work with, they were like, hey, can you create a Facebook profile? And this was pretty early in the morning, maybe like 8 or 9 or something like that. So I got up and I was just trying to create a new profile with the email that we have for the app on my phone. And it kept kicking me out. And I was like, what the heck is going on? So I was like, oh, maybe I just need to do it on the computer because they don't allow you to create new accounts on the phone or something like that. So I got up, pulled out my laptop, and I was trying to do it. And then it just like, it kept doing, like the error, I don't know what the error looked like, but it just kept showing up the same way. Like it wouldn't allow me to create a profile. So then I just looked it up like, yo, is Facebook down or whatever? Or I might have looked on Twitter or something. And then it was a trending topic for however long, and I was like, "Oh, Facebook is down," and it didn't change my life at all.
Can you imagine if like these like apps or the platforms was racist, and like you click on it, it says press enter, and then go to the next screen, it'd be like you're black.
Yeah.
Who was it that said that? They said like, "Hey, Keith, you're black."
Somebody told me that?
Yeah, you said somebody, or you mentioned it one time.
I don't remember that. Dang, I wish I remembered.
Yeah, that sounds like it was like a stand-up or something. Like, hey, all the black people in here, you're black.
Yeah, I don't remember that. But yeah, I think that I guess that 6 hour time frame really showed how screwed up we are as a society. Like for us to be so worried or bothered that a social media is down is just crazy.
Yeah, you're not doing enough.
Yeah, and I mean, we have so much life outside of social media, and I can understand there are some people that have, because they were saying like Mark Zuckerberg lost $9 billion, something crazy like that. And there are some people that have businesses that they need to promote as far as like classes that they're promoting on Instagram and Facebook, or just different things that they're selling, or their stores connected to Facebook and all these different things. But outside of that, for the people that are just casual Instagram and Facebook users, I think we need to really reassess how we're moving out here. Like that time frame, and I think Peter Rosenberg was talking about this, if I'm not mistaken. But imagine that time frame, or that time we used during the quarantine to read books and to do stuff around the house and build decks and all this different stuff. That same 6 hours, which is not that long, we could have used that as an opportunity to open a book, or like you said, listen to a podcast or something like that. But it's just like I think that people, when they were kicked off of Facebook and Instagram, spent more time communicating about them being kicked off instead of like actually utilizing that time to do something productive.
Then they went to text messaging.
Yeah, exactly. And so they just hopped in a group chat like, dang, Facebook is down. I can't believe this and all this kind of stuff. So
that's nuts.
Yeah.
They should you know what they should do? I wish they could shut down all social media for probably for like 2 days. Mm-hmm. Just shut it down for 2 days as like a social experiment.
Yeah.
Just to find out how people are reacting to it. Mm-hmm. What are they doing? I think you could track what people are doing in their phones. It'll probably be like text messaging increased by 60%. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't text people like that. Mm-hmm. I can't. First of all, I'm a truck driver, so I'm not going to be fucking around with my phone. And secondly, it's a horrible way to communicate.
Yeah.
Horrible way. It's exhausting, too. It's exhausting because when people don't understand you, now you got to write another text. It's like, look, motherfucker, you could call me or you could fuck off. I'm not going to keep writing your ass.
That's an old, I guess, late 20s on up. Like, just texting as a form of communication is just trash nowadays. Yeah.
I don't waste my time texting women, man. Mm-hmm. I use text to set up plans. Mm-hmm. Like, fellas, if you catch wind of this and you see this chick and she's texting you, you're texting her, and you're texting a lot, and it seems like she likes you, and it seems like she's laughing and she's interested, she's losing interest. Mm-hmm. I'm just telling you, she's losing interest because you are too available and you are texting her over and over and over and over and over, and you are just like every other nigga in her phone. Mm-hmm.
Some of the conversations start to bleed into each other. So like what happens with those things is like she may ask you a question and you'll respond in a way that 5 other dudes responded.
There you go.
You're like, dang, he's just like the other guys.
He's just like the last 20 dudes that did this.
Yeah.
That's why you set up plans to meet in person. When women like you, they will meet you in person. You don't got to sit there texting all the goddamn time. Mm-hmm. It's wasting your time. Mm-hmm. But no, there's not a whole lot to say about this Facebook, Instagram being down. More or less, it's we have to change the way we occupy our time. We, as Americans, we do a fucked up job. We watch reality TV, which is trash. We go to Instagram and follow. First of all, it is unhealthy to follow too many people. Mm-hmm. If you following 6,000 people, that's a problem.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me that 6,000 people are that important to you?
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't think. Do I know 6,000 people?
Yeah, I feel like I follow too many people, and I really don't, because I know most of these people, or they have some level of significance. Like I go to my Instagram now, I follow 743 people, and I wish it was less.
Yeah,
but like
I'm gonna do a cleanse soon.
If I'm cool with you, I'll do it. How many do you follow? Can't be that much. Can't be more than me.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, as a recent. I kind of started like following people back that may have followed me.
Oh, my followers going up. Oh, I got 1,412 people.
Yeah, I follow more. I follow 874 people.
Really? Mm-hmm. No way. Mm-hmm. How many followers you got? Like 1,300?
1,100.
11? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this probably is some people that you just don't deal with. I would take them off, man. And you know what's funny? When you click on their profile, you see they ain't posted nothing since 2016.
I actually had unfollowed my cousin once, and then he he was out in Bakersfield, and then he tried to message me.
Oh,
but
no.
It was in it was in the general box or whatever.
Do you accept this message?
Yeah, it was one of them. And then I was like, dang. And then I just ended up following him back. Because he just wasn't that active. So I was like, dang, what the heck? But well, there's an app I think it's an app that shows you like the people that you're following that don't follow you. So what I did once is I just looked at all of those different people and I just started unfollowing people.
That's what I did. Because it's like, it's not like that big a deal, but it's like, why would I follow you if you ain't following me? That's just, you're not that important.
Yeah, you're not doing that.
And I don't have this elitist, like I'm somebody great, but it's like, if I don't have a real legitimate reason to follow you, it's no offense, but I'm not going to. Mm-hmm. You know? Mm-hmm. If you're cool or whatever, because there's some people that I really don't know like that, but I follow them, but they're just really cool. So
like internet, you got like an internet relationship,
right? There's some people on my Instagram, no bullshit, that I have been following since like 2012.
Really?
Yes, like not
when you first made your profile.
When Instagram first popped off and. You know, you get hashtag 49ers, whatever, and there was a lot of 49er fans out there, you know, whether they be in like San Jose or in Santa Clara or wherever else. And we just clicked up and followed each other. We've been following each other since like 2012, 2013.
That's crazy.
I was like, what the fuck? I've seen people's lives change. Like it'd be a single dude and then he meet this girl and then the girl, they have a kid. Then they have another kid. Now they got a whole family. It's like, fuck. Like I watch your whole growth, man.
Yeah.
I feel like I owe child support.
What do you think about that whole like whistleblower thing? And then that conversation, basically she was saying like Facebook.
Flow Rider?
Wait, what?
With Flow Rider?
No.
Blow my whistle?
No, not that.
Blow my whistle, baby, let me know.
Nah.
You know he's talking about a blowjob, right?
Yeah. We don't listen to Flow Rider. He came to Bakersfield once. I like the.
That was terrible. Go ahead.
Yeah, he came to they had a radio.
He came to Bakersfield? Mm-hmm. No way.
He was out here with his shirt off, all in the audience.
No way.
Was all jumping on his back and stuff.
Where was this?
At the Rabobank.
How long ago was that?
Probably like 2011 or something.
Oh, wow. That was a while back.
A long time ago, yeah. But
like, all right, Bakersfield, y'all ready to fuck?
But she was having this conversation. The reason I bring it up is because I feel kind of the opposite about it. A lot of people are saying like, the Facebook algorithms are set up to make us angry and to make us anxious, and it's affecting our mental health. And Facebook and Instagram, they show us timely things to kind of engage us into the thing. My stance on it is that is true, but it's also an algorithm based off of the information they are receiving from us.
Yes.
So, we were before you had a TikTok, I was telling you about like how my TikTok is primarily music. Right. Like it's producers on there, it's people, rappers, and certain art. Every now and then, like it'll like a girl dancing to pop up, but for 95% of the time, it's like music producers, engineers, and stuff like that. So I say that to say like when these people are complaining about like the stuff that Instagram and all these other platforms are showing them, it's a little bit of their doing. So for a guy that's like, man, all I see is hoes on my timeline. I don't know what's going on. You're clicking on the pages. You're following these women. The people that you're following are also following these women.
Yes. So it's feeding you the same shit that you consume.
Exactly. And even if you look at my Explore page right now, it's probably J. Cole on there, Drake, Childish Gambino. It might be some, people making beats on there. Like that's how I've curated my social media.
Right.
So that's okay for me. Like, and I actually can appreciate that, because if I'm bored and I'm just scrolling through and I want to click on somebody making a beat or something, that's there for me.
Yeah.
So for those people that are like, this is affecting my mental health and all this kind of stuff, it's just like you should tell the algorithm exactly what you want to see. And that starts by you following certain pages, you liking certain pages and stuff like that. So that's just my spin on it.
Yeah, you can set that up. I don't think people customize their shit enough. Like if you go to your Facebook and you just start going through a list of people and start unfollowing them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did that before with Facebook. I think I unfollowed like 130 people. Mm-hmm. I was just going through like this, like
unfriending.
Nah, nope, nope. I don't even really accept friend requests like that. Mm-hmm. Like if I don't know them too, it depends though. But then you don't want to be shallow the guy that's you accepting friend requests from this chick because she's pretty attractive.
Yeah, and not the dude that's actually supports or like found you through one of our friends or something like that.
Right? Yeah, it's no point. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's no point. My Instagram is definitely like that. I don't just follow anyone. Mm-hmm. You have to be doing something, or you either got to be a cool person or you got to be doing something for me to follow you. Mm-hmm. If not, it's like no. Yeah. But there's that, man. We just, as human beings, we have to do a better job of utilizing our time when it comes to using these platforms. Otherwise, you're just gonna be the guy that your whole timeline gonna be nothing but chicks twerking, titties out, and or whatever. Because there's some people, dude, and they literally all they got is they duet with it'll be some super thick chick or whatever, and it's just like, man, we don't need that oversaturating every single platform because it's a bunch of that shit on Facebook. It's a bunch of that shit. Instagram is the worst one. Mm-hmm. But come on, man, deal with women in the real world. I'm not gonna be giving. I'm not gonna be looking up random chicks on the internet. And nah, no thanks. Mm-hmm. All right, switching gears. Urban Myers, the head coach, Urban Myers, got caught doing some shit he wasn't supposed to be doing. Let's get into it. You notice that TikTok be trying to send you them little like updates,
notifications. Yeah, like hey, such and such.
I can't believe they did this.
Yeah, I'm like come on,
swipe
dog.
left, nigga, leave me alone. I'm doing a podcast.
Don't send me no text message.
Yeah. Whatever you got going, it's like they're trying to coerce you into.
That's what like if you haven't been on any platform really in a long time. If you ain't been on Facebook in a minute, like the social dilemma stuff, they'll send you a notification like, hey, you have 10 unread messages or whatever.
Snapchat, to me, is probably the least popular app that I use. I hardly use it.
Yeah, I don't even have mine installed on my phone anymore.
Yeah, it's really no point. So I'm not going to send you nothing on Snapchat no more.
Yeah, sometimes like I'll download it again and then I realize like, there's still nothing going on.
Yeah, it's nothing going on. Snapchat is really for like single people.
Yeah.
That's all it really is.
Yeah, or not single people.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but there's some shit going on there. For the most part, there's shit going on. Snapchat was really big. Like 5 years ago, Snapchat was fucking huge.
Yeah, it was popping, huh?
Everybody was on it because they was like, ooh, I could put these fun filters on there and act like that's why I use it, but I'm really cheating on my wife.
Yeah.
Vice versa.
That definitely was a spot to just send nudes.
Oh, that was
not unsolicited, but nudes without any real ramifications.
Right.
Because they could just go away.
Right. And the way that they doing shit now, they got it to where you could disappear, make stuff disappear. And all that.
Yeah.
It's nuts. But anyway, Urban Meyer, well, this is his wife. His wife, Shelly, said, Shelly off Twitter amidst husband viral video drama. I don't need the hate.
That's what she said?
Yeah, I said, I don't need the hate.
What do you mean you don't need the hate? That's your husband.
No, I'm talking about for her.
Oh, they're coming at her?
Yeah.
Oh, I got you. I thought she was saying
this is what his wife said. Okay. Where the fuck is... Okay, so this would be my last post on Twitter. Frankly, I don't need the hate. Vitriol, slander, trash that will at me. This will never stop anyway, she wrote. Ohio's Buckeyes head coach Urban Meyer and wife Shelly Meyer celebrate after Ohio Buckeyes. Oh, fuck all that. This is the photo. We all make mistakes. We're all sinners. If you think you aren't, then cast the first stone. To my wonderful followers, friends, thank you for your love, support, friendship, laughs. I will miss this the most. I love you all and wish God's blessings on you. Okay, this article, I thought it went into the specifics with Urban Meyer, but it did not. Motherfucker. Basically, Urban Meyer is a head coach. Where are we at? Okay, not that one. Oh, it's another one. All right. Basically, Urban Meyer, the head coach of the Jaguars, after a loss, He went to a bar that he owns, or a restaurant that he owns, and he went and had some drinks and was hanging out instead of flying back with the team. And there was video of the footage that came out of some young chick that was twerking on him. Mind you, this is a head coach of a football team. The chick wasn't very old. She couldn't have been no more than 20-something.
It was a bad twerk, too. It wasn't like no TikTok twerk.
It wasn't no good twerk. She needed some WD-40 on her shit. Yeah, she needed some lubrication on her.
Those hip flexors.
Yeah, she needs some lubrication on that hip, that twerk. Need to get some Meg the Stallion courses. Yeah, but either way, basically he's a married man. Here's the thing that men need to understand. This is just everyone in general, but since I'm a man, I'll give that as an example. When you're a head coach of an NFL football team and you're a married man, you have no business having a early 20-something-year-old woman twerking on you in the public. Mm-hmm. Like, these things don't align with your purpose in life. I think that if you can't do things that, if you're trying to become your higher self and whatever that means, you can't do things that you was doing when you were 23. Mm-hmm. You have to stay on track. You know what I mean? And to have a wife and you doing this, you making her look stupid. We have to remember that we represent the people that we date and who we marry. Mm-hmm. So if my wife is out somewhere and she got some young guy and she's twerking on this dude and I find out, I'm going to feel horrible because my wife's doing this. Like, what the fuck are you doing? You're making me look stupid, right? And that's what Urban Meyer did. But two things are true. What he did was dumb, but I'm not here to chastise him for that. Nobody is perfect. We've all done some stupid shit, even if it wasn't what he did exactly. My problem, too, is the motherfucker that recorded him. Mm-hmm. What would possess you to see somebody that's enjoying themselves, even if they're doing the wrong thing, and record them? Mm-hmm. You just, it's whoever recorded him is a piece of fucking shit. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't record Urban Meyer, man. That was fucked up.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me that out of all the things you could be doing in there, you could be having a beer, enjoying yourself, you decided to pull your phone out and record somebody?
Yeah. He was the only person that did that, huh? It was only one camera.
I think it was only one camera. Mm-hmm. So it's like, bro, like, what are you doing? Are you just did you hate him, or were you just trying to make some money? Were you trying to send that to TMZ? Like, what were you doing?
Yeah, TMZ might give you a bag for that.
Yeah.
I think my stance on it is how you do anything is how you do everything. Right. So the Jacksonville Jaguars are a terrible team, a terrible organization overall. Yeah. I think that when it just looks terrible when your team is losing week in and week out. There's no bright spot in the organization, and you're a new coach there in that organization. It makes the team look bad. It makes you look bad. It makes your players look bad. It makes all the players that played for him. It just kind of like makes them look bad. And I just don't see how a person like this that is kind of out partying almost, and they just lost, right?
Yeah.
That was after a loss. So a guy out partying after you lost can be a winning coach. Like, you don't have the discipline in order to be successful in the NFL. Because I can almost guarantee you that Bill Belichick wasn't out, at a bar partying with girls twerking on him. Especially after they lost. And that's what Keyshawn Johnson was saying. He was like, sometimes after we had a tough loss, the coaches would start watching film right after the game. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I, for a young player that may be a rookie or like second year, third year in the league, and they want to just go out and have fun, and it may be after a loss or after a win, it didn't really matter. I could see that, like they got mushy brains still, but. For a guy like Urban Meyer, who's probably, in his 60s or 50s or something like that?
Yeah, he's in his 50s, I think.
Yeah, to be a guy that old that is doing this. And then to have the I think for him, it's kind of like he was almost too comfortable. And that's the strange part about the whole video, is he's sitting there knowing that there's so many people around him, knowing that he has a wife at home, knowing that he's a figure in the whole state of Florida. To be that casual and that comfortable is just strange to me.
Yeah, I just think ultimately you look stupid as a man when you put yourself in these situations. But I'm not here to shit on Urban Meyer. But dude, you can't be a head coach because now you telling your guys, hey, you need to be here on time, you need to do this and that. But you my head coach and you chasing pussy.
I
seen you chasing 20-year-old pussy on the internet, right? On fucking TMZ, and now you telling me I gotta be on time? How about you shut the fuck up and go chase that pussy?
Go ahead and do you say now, it doesn't hold the same weight.
Bro, I'm 36 years old and I'm too old to chase pussy.
Yeah.
So if I'm too old to do it, what the fuck are you doing? You supposed to be my head coach.
The thing about it is this is like being caught on camera.
Right.
But this is probably a normal thing, you know? He probably shows up at that bar all the time and it's, you know, the young girl that's at the bar or whatever comes and dances on him, or he might buy drinks for the girls or whatever. This is just the first time that we seen it, which kind of makes the situation worse.
Oh yeah.
But I just think overall, we you know, as far as Urban Meyers, it doesn't matter. Like you could do whatever you want to with your life. But I just think for us as people trying to mature and whatnot, like we have to be disciplined enough to, like you said, not be out here chasing hoes and all this kind of stuff. Like if you want to be successful. And Eddie and I are trying. We're not like we're successful in our own right, but we're also working towards, you know, being like more successful. You can't move like that. That's just like that's something that is not conducive to being successful. Like that time that he was spending at the bar, and it's okay for coaches always go out and, you know, they have drinks here and there, but just like the lack of discipline that comes with like having a girl twerk on you is just that's to me just not a winning formula.
No, it's just to me it just looks bad. Mm-hmm. You lose the team when you do that.
Yeah,
you know, it's almost like a parent. It's like a parent that's saying, "Do as I say, not as I do." Mm-hmm. But you know, I'm not trying to compare a parent and a coach, but a coach is a leader. Mm-hmm. And the only way you can come back from this and say, look, I fucked up, I was wrong. And I know a lot of you guys probably don't expect for me to, you know, to be a great leader, even though I got in trouble with this, but I'm letting you know I got your back. I fucked up. I'm going to work to gain your trust back, but we got to stay locked in, guys. You know what I mean? And from that point forward, you got to be all the way transparent. I'm sure a lot of the players don't give a fuck because as players ourselves that have played football, we can look at a coach and tell if he's decent.
They may laugh at it.
They're laughing at it because they probably knew he was chasing pussy.
Yeah,
he probably came to practice with a little bit of white powder under his nose one day. It's always symptomatic things to let you know that your coach is a wild boy.
Yeah,
he's a wild motherfucker, man. Mm-hmm. So yeah, don't do that. If by the way, this applies to everybody because there's guys my age that are head coaches at schools or, you know, they're head coaches of like Pee Wee League teams. Don't be that coach that's that young guy, the young, cool, hip coach, but, you know, you're doing out of character stuff. Mm-hmm. If you're going to be a coach of young men, don't be, you know, snorting coke in Vegas on the street buying prostitutes.
Yeah.
Be a fucking coach, man.
It's especially the elder statesman, right? If you're a position coach and you low-key got some hoes, it's like kind of cool. Yeah, you only 5-6 years older than us or maybe 10 years older than us.
Yeah, you're a young guy.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, we kind of, you might have played with my older brother or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, you're only 26 or something.
Yeah, exactly. But if you the head coach or, you know, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, you got to at least present yourself in a way where, you know, you're a leader. You got it together. You got it's like the president, right? Like most presidents that we've had, I think all the presidents that we've had have been married and family and the whole nine, right? Like that, but that's kind of like, it kind of shows a certain level of structure to your life. So, it makes it a little bit more palatable for people trying to vote for you and whatnot. But if we had a president that was just chasing hoes and stuff like that, it just wouldn't make sense. So you just got to be on the up and up to lead a team.
Imagine if we had a single president.
Yeah.
That'd be nuts.
He was just smacking all these, cougars out here.
That'd be crazy. If you're the president though, and you openly single,
yeah,
you're gonna be getting the baddest.
But it wouldn't even be the bad. Like obviously, you would get like the Holly Berries and all these upper, those cougars and stuff like that. But you got access to the world.
Yeah.
So you might be getting the South African, women, and then the women in England and United Kingdom and all that. Yeah, it'd be crazy.
Damn. So you getting sweet fried rice, and you getting African rice.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah. They call it like jolop or something.
Jolop?
Yeah.
Yeah. That joke bombed.
They all done,
I was going for it, man. I was going for it and it bombed.
Gotta go for it.
That was a live action bombing. That's how it feels in comedy when you're on stage and you kind of slip one in there.
Yeah.
And you expect a reaction, it doesn't get it.
So Daphne had 40 minutes of those kind of jokes.
Of bombing. Yeah, that was the first time openly trans woman bombed for 45 minutes. Rest in peace to Daphne, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, not a whole bunch else to say about Urban Meyer. Switching gears, this is the last one. Where we at, man?
125.
All right, friends with benefits. In this, we've briefly had this conversation before, but when people hear the idea of friends with benefits, they only think of sex, right? They only think of people fucking. But I think that friends with benefits is when you have established what the benefit is. If we've established as a collaborative that the benefit is sex, then that's good. That means we're fucking. We have a benefit, right? If we are not having sex and the benefit is, you're my girlfriend or whatever, then the benefit is, companionship, trust, things of that nature. What I'm trying to say is in every relationship, there should be a benefit. If it is not a benefit if there's not like a symbiotic relationship, then it's the person's a liability, basically.
Yeah.
If they don't offer something to your life that is a benefit, then it is not a friendship. It doesn't matter who the fuck it is, man. You could meet somebody at work. They could be cool. They say, hey, I know you're working on this. I can help you with this. And then you help them with that. That's a friend with benefits. You should always have a beneficial friendship. If you don't have it, then you need to reevaluate the people that are around you.
Yeah.
Because you're just going to be spinning your wheels and the people that are around are just a waste they're like a hot air balloon with no air in it.
Yeah, man. I think that especially the older we get. So
right.
The friends that I had in high school, I don't communicate with them as much as I do now just because I'm in a different place in my life. I'm trying to, I'm on this journey of, being a podcaster and doing, films and all these different things and, being more financially successful and all these things. Yeah, just, trying to be a mandingo out here. But when I was in high school, I wasn't concerned about much. You might be trying to get girls or, trying to go to parties or trying to play football. And it's like your world is so small, you know what I mean? It's super zoomed in. You're not really concerned about much outside of like getting to school and, talking to girls and all this kind of stuff, right? Excuse me. But when it comes to, when you get in your mid-20s and your late 20s and your 30s and, and beyond, your life is it's a ticking time bomb almost.
Right.
Because we know that the older you get, the more likely you are to move on or transition in life, right?
Right.
So that I would assume that, you have to curate your life or structure your life in a way that is going to be conducive to trying to be successful. But what happens when you have these friends that are not like beneficial or you don't have friends with benefits, it's almost like people just dragging you down.
Exactly.
And I think life goes a lot smoother when you can call on people or you can communicate with people that are helpful or beneficial in some way. And I think for us who are like, fighting our way out of poverty and stuff like that, we don't have much time to just chill and kick it with people that aren't doing anything. So I think that like when you can call on, like if you need, like for me, I was working on some stuff at the house and I can call my friend and I'd be like, hey man, I'm trying to do this at the crib. Like, do you have any idea like how much this will cost or whatever? And he'd be like, yeah, exactly. I did the same thing at my crib and this is how I I did this and I did that, right? Or like, even the other day, I talked to one of my boys and he was like, man, I've been looking for a therapist for a while. Like, I know personally that I'm dealing with a lot. I have family members that deal with mental health issues. Like, I've been trying to find a therapist, and I'm like, yo, man, I'm glad you reached out. I'm glad you're doing good. I'm glad that you have the capacity to understand that you do need therapy. Like, let me help you out, and then he got some stuff off his chest. I got some stuff off my chest. And then we can, go on with our lives. Or, even, as far as a podcast, the majority of time, that Eddie and I spend together is something that is like helping the podcast out in some way, shape, or form. But that's the...
Except for last week when we had that candlelight dinner.
We had some sweet rice.
It's some rice jalap. You had some pizza with pineapples on it.
I like pizza with pineapples.
That shit is nasty.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
That pizza tastes like Hawaii.
Oh man, but no, I just think like I think as when you start to get older in age, you have to start assessing your friends.
Right?
Like, am I friends with this person just because I'm supposed to be friends with this person?
Yeah.
Am I friends with this person just because, when I was in third grade, we used to sit by each other in class and, laugh and throw, do the little straw with the spitballs in it at the other students in the class. And we just grew up together and that's the basis of our friendship. 'Cause, what I'm realizing now, and, I'm sure a lot of people out there are realizing, you just start to mature, and we don't actually, when you're 15 years old or when you in elementary school, when you start to meet like your friends, like you think that that's just gonna last forever. But once you get older, you graduate college or you start your career or you start the job that you see yourself doing for the foreseeable future, you're an entirely different person than you were back in the day. And that person, like, I'm on I'm cordial with a lot of those people that I was like my day-to-day guys in elementary school.
Yeah.
Like, we was kicking it heavy, like, hanging out in the summer and all these different stuff. But now, like, we're so far apart in our lives, and it's not no bad blood or anything like that, but it's just like, yo, I'm on this journey, and my journey is a lot different from what they are doing now. So I just think it's important to reassess these relationships.
Yeah, I don't think anything prepares you for life, right? Mm-hmm. Your parents can't prepare you for it. Things just kind of fucking happen. So with that being said, you have to have people around you that when life happens, that they're mature enough and they're going to be standing there right there with you when you go through this shit. You're going to have moms die, dads die, brothers, sisters, cousins. All kinds of people are going to die. You're going to have financial ups, financial downs. You're going to have health problems. You're going to have all kinds of shit go on. And you need to have people in your corner and in your life that are mature enough, that are going in the same direction as you. I'm not saying they need to do the same thing. I'm just saying you guys need to be living a parallel lifestyle in order to have a real friendship. If you're way up here and they enjoy living down here, you cannot fucking be friends with people like that. Mm-hmm. You can't. You cannot be friends with people like that because they are simply never going to elevate who they are in order to be friends with you. So if they don't want to work to keep that relationship, let them go. Doesn't mean you hate them. Doesn't mean you're judging them. It just means you grew apart and you need to accept it.
Sometimes those people can actually be people that are moving in the same direction as you. Like, for you, for example, like, say you had a guy that also drove trucks. Mm-hmm. And, maybe 5 years ago or whatever, when you guys started trucking, y'all was tight. Y'all,
mm-hmm.
Y'all went out together and all these different things. Mm-hmm. But you see that you're moving in a way where you're like, yo, I'm a boss. Like, you have these positive self-talks to where mm-hmm. you're like, yo, I am more than sitting on this truck for mm-hmm. 12, 15 hours a day or whatever mm-hmm. the case may be. And this person is just stuck, like, mentally, like, in the rat race. Mm-hmm. So it even happens in those cases where that person that are like, you would deem as like successful or as successful as you,
right?
But they're just not where you were at, and
True.
you got sometimes even move on from those people.
Yeah, that's true. That's basically the same thing I was saying. I think ultimately too, though, man, this like nothing prepares you for life. Life just kind of happens, right? And when life happens, you have to have a nucleus around you that allows you that basically, like when you can't support yourself, like you have like a group around you that when you fall down, the people and the life that you have already established will keep you afloat. If that makes any sense. You know, if you're a person that has a strong network of friends, reliable people, and you're supporting them and they're supporting you, you guys are cool, and then you fall down, they're gonna be right there to be there with you.
Yeah.
But when you have a bunch of friends that you're the one that's always helping, when the help is one-sided or whatever's going on, then ultimately there's no benefit in addition to that person can't do shit for you.
Yeah.
Cause shit gets tough, man. Like even right now, for example, this is kind of, I won't say it's apples and oranges, but like I'm going through stuff, you know, with the reality of I don't know how long my father's gonna be on this planet. So like if and I know this is may not be correlated, but if I'm talking to a chick and this is something about her that I'm not feeling, I just cut her off. I got bigger fish to fry. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of like I'm cool off you. But if I was to meet a woman that understood my situation or had a situation kind of like it and we meshed, then I know I could keep her around just based off of the maturity and what she offers me and what I offer her. But if somebody is just doing too much, I already got too much going on in my life. The same way as if you're a person that has friends or friend or whoever, and they're so like stuck while you're attempting to be your higher self, it's just a waste of time of even having them around.
Yeah. And it doesn't even have to be any bad blood. It doesn't even take a conversation. I think we always say like when they talk about romantic relationships, they say it's work. Like you have to work on learning each other and all this type of things. I don't think we should work to have friends.
No, that should be effortless.
Yeah, it should be effortless because a lot of your friends are already people you mesh with. Y'all like the same music, y'all like the same restaurants, or you eat the same food, or whatever the case may be. That's supposed to be stuff where you spend X amount of time together doing the things that you like to do together.
Right.
But if you're having to like put forth effort into a friendship like you are in a marriage or something like that, you should just find some new friends.
Right. Every friendship should have benefits.
Yeah.
Every single one. Every single one. If there is none, then I think somebody says something like, it says something like the value is something, I forgot what it said, like what you could do for them, or no, the measure of a person is what you could do for someone that can't do anything for you, or something like that. But I think that only applies when a person's homeless or down in their luck. Like if I'm helping somebody that's homeless or something, that's one thing. But if I have a whole able-bodied adult that refuses to advance themselves, then fuck you. I don't got time for it. You know what I mean? And I may be saying fuck you. That don't mean I hate you. But when you don't offer me nothing, you gotta go. You gotta go, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm not gonna be wasting my time. I'm 36 years old. I don't have time to waste. And people would be like, that's not very old. He's only 36. But what the fuck I'm gonna do? Drag this whole friendship or whatever it is for another 7-8 years, and now we're almost in our fucking 50s?
And I'm just trying to be.
Like,
trying to be your friend. That doesn't work like that.
No.
Yeah. That's the thing for me. Like I can, I guess disconnect in a way where I'm just like I said it like this. Like there's some people that I don't talk like that were super cool in high school or elementary school that I don't talk to as regularly anymore. But I was just like, if whomever were to just pass away at this current moment, like for instance, not to like sadden a podcast, but I had a friend from elementary school that passed away maybe last week or something like that.
Wow, no way.
Yeah, and like we didn't have like we were super cool, like third grade or whatever, and then like junior high, we were cool, but we were like more cordial. And then high school came around, we were really like more like, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? That kind of thing, right?
Is that I think it was the funeral everybody was at.
I don't know if he's had a funeral yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this only happened like a few days ago, and they have funerals are backed up like 3-4 weeks these days. But
damn,
yeah, because COVID and stuff. But I say that to say, like, I am content with our relationship. I'm content with the fact that we were super tight once upon a time, like used to walk home from school together and all these different things.
Right.
But as we grew older, like, you know, we didn't really have a real relationship after that. Like, I'm content with knowing that certain relationships were moments in my life. Like, we had a great time, like super fun times at lunchtime or, you know, playing football together, whatever the case may be. But I'm not harping on the fact that I am trying to like keep these things going. Like, I'm completely okay with that. It would be different if it's like, you know, like a parent or a brother or something like that. Those are, you know, you have like blood relationships with these people, so you wanna make those things work. But as far as a friend goes, I just understand the nature of human beings that. And understand seasons in a way that it's like, hey, this is just a moment in my life, and you know we're gonna have the ability to reminisce, and you know, even like if you see, we talked about like seeing old football guys, and they're like, hey, what's up, Fingers? Hey, what's up, McGee?
Old teammates.
And you chop it up like, man, I remember when you know in practice that time and blah blah blah, and y'all have that moment, and then you just go on with your life.
Right, 100%. Yeah, because you know that moment meant a lot to you as a collaborative, but like you're grown men now, so that time is over. But yeah, man, I don't know why I was thinking about when you mentioned the third grade. I just thought about crayons. There was this kid in my class that used to eat crayons, man.
Really?
They used to have to stop him.
It'd be weird. I haven't seen that personally, but I've heard of stuff like, or eating glue and stuff like that.
Yeah, eating glue and crayons. Like
eating your own boogers.
Oh, my God, yeah. The kids, this kid sneezed, and I remember one day this kid sneezed, and I think it was like the third grade. I think it was fourth grade. Sneeze, fucking... Kids be having weird boogers that come out. Kids got these weird animated cartoon boogers. Yeah. He went, boom, a bunch of snot blew all over his face. And he just went like, and just started eating it. I'm like, oh my God. And he thought, here's the thing, he thought nobody could see it. Yeah. He was standing outside the fucking, you remember back in the day, they had those windows that you took that stick, you took the stick to close, push it up or close it down. Well, those windows were up. It was during the wintertime. They were all closed. And it had a tent on it. Yeah. You remember you had like a little light tent? Yeah. So I guess the kid didn't realize there was people inside the class, and we all seen him eat his burgers. It was like, And the teacher was like, hey, just pay attention to what I'm saying. We was like, man,
you can't pay attention to that.
He eating boogers over there, yo.
He got a burger over there.
He eating mad boogers, yo.
I remember my niece.
That's where COVID came from.
I remember my niece had ate her booger once. So she just like picking her. She was probably like 2, I would say like 2 or 3, something like super young, right? And I was like making fun of her, and she got mad that I was starting to make fun of her. I was like, you eating your boogers? She's like, no, leave me alone.
Yeah, you got to stop that at a young age.
It's like, how you gonna get mad at me? Yo, you eating your boogers?
You got to stop behaviors like that at a young age, because people will get older and like they'll still do it. Because I've seen some people that was in their 30s that still suck on their thumb, bro. Yeah. And I'm like, why? How the fuck? How are you still doing this? And they suck on their thumb so much that their thumb be deformed.
And their teeth.
And their teeth like in the front. You be like, what the? Who's... And they just be standing there with their thumb in their mouth. You be like, yo, what are you doing?
It's like a soggy thumb, huh?
You're like, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to break those habits for sure.
I don't know how you break it now. Like every time they put their thumb in their mouth, you just slap them.
I know even, and I don't know if he still does it now, but I remember one of my guys in elementary school, he used to bite his nails a lot. Like a bad habit, I know some people. It would be super like
nubby.
Gnawed off or whatever. And his mom put the clear nail polish so he wouldn't.
Really?
So every time he put it in his mouth, he basically tasting chemicals. And I don't know if it helped or not, but yeah.
The only problem is like, what if you start liking the taste of the chemicals?
I mean,
because kids used to eat crayons, my guy. So it was like,
yeah,
like this is just like them crayons. I've seen kids eat crayons. I've seen kids eat erasers.
Erasers.
Oh man, kids used to chew erasers like gum, dude.
Kids are weird,
man.
Yeah.
Yo, I remember back in school, one of the most annoying things that most people did, I guess they did it for attention. They would get up and sharpen their pencil on that loud ass sharp. They sharpen it with the crank. You're like,
Some people would do it to be annoying. Like I know for me, I don't know why I said like so loud, but I know for me, like when you want some attention or something, you might be bored in class. You will get up, and the teacher may even be teaching, and you just like. Did you guys have the ones the electrical ones?
The ones that will fucking run out of battery?
Yeah.
You put it in there and it just fuck your pencil up?
Yeah.
Instead of like sharpening it sharp, it just going.
It's just eating your pencil.
It's just eating my shit up.
Yeah.
And then when you pull it out, it's all deformed and not really. You're like, what the fuck?
But no, when you got the newer ones and you put that mug in there, it sharpened that mug like pristine.
Really?
Like the perfect little cone is at the top. Yeah.
Yeah. You remember them old school can openers? When you put the thing and they spin around.
Yeah.
We had the old one, but that motherfucker, it took forever to open one can.
Really?
Man, that motherfucker was from the 60s, man. I don't know about everybody else, but some black folks be having old like kitchenware that has been discontinued for like 40 years.
You got like civil rights can openers or something.
You got a Martin Luther King can opener. I have a dream that someday this can of tuna gonna open up. We'll come together and get these raviolis out of this can.
From pinto beans to black eyed peas, we're gonna get these cans open.
Chef Boyardee. Beef macaroni. Civil rights movement. Oh man.
Yes, we can.
You said what?
Yes, we can.
Oh, that was the sign right there. Oh man. Shout out to Martin Luther King. Billie Eilish got some nice titties. Oh man. All right, man. Crazy. Let's go ahead and get out of here. All right, folks. For all those who have listened to this podcast and made it to the end, man, we appreciate you. Thank you for listening to a Trucker's Mind podcast. I'm Eddie McGee.
I'm K Fings.
Beef macaroni. I have a dream that someday a Trucker's Mind podcast will rise up. It's unfair to tell the bootless man to. That's crazy. All right, let's get out of here, man.
All right, man.
All right. If you made it to the end of this episode, man, we appreciate you. Thank you for listening to a Trucker's Mind podcast. I'm Eddie McGee.
It's your boy K Fings.
We're out of here.
Peace.